Star Alex Eala takes center stage at the BNP Paribas Tennis Paradise in Indian Wells. And of course, Filipino fans turn out in full force to cheer her on.
Of course, I'm very grateful for all the support that's been coming my way. And it's really heartwarming to see that they really, they make the effort and they take the time to come out and to support, and it makes the experience for the player totally.
Something unprecedented just happened at Indian Wells, and the tennis world is still processing it. Alex Eala's first ever match at the 2026 BNP Paribas Open didn't just generate excitement. It generated a $5 million in ticket sales from a single match, a figure that has no precedent in the tournament's history and no clean comparison anywhere in women's tennis. The demand was so overwhelming that it crashed the ticketing website entirely. Fans from across the globe converged on the system simultaneously, all chasing the same thing: a seat inside the stadium for what everyone already sensed was going to be something far beyond a routine first-round match. And they were right. From the moment the match was announced, the atmosphere surrounding it felt different. Not different in the way that marquee matchups between top 10 players feel significant. Different in a way that tournament organizers had simply never encountered before. The buzz wasn't confined to tennis communities or Filipino fan groups. It was everywhere: mainstream sports media, general entertainment coverage. People who don't follow tennis, had never attended a tennis match, and had no particular reason to start, suddenly racing to secure tickets before the window closed. Indian Wells, one of the most prestigious events on the entire tennis calendar, has hosted decades of extraordinary moments. But what the Eala Effect produced in the days leading up to that match, and then inside the stadium itself, forced the tournament to confront a reality it had not fully prepared for. This wasn't a one-time surge. This wasn't a novelty spike. Analysts watching the data in real time are calling it a structural shift, a fundamental change in who shows up to women's tennis, why they show up, and what they are willing to pay for the privilege. Jessica Pegula, one of the most experienced competitors on the WTA Tour, offered perhaps the most honest first-hand account of what the Eala phenomenon actually feels like from the other side of the net. She walked into her match against Eala at the Miami Open expecting a tournament atmosphere. What she encountered was something categorically different. The energy inside that stadium, the noise, the intensity, the complete emotional investment of every person in the building, was unlike anything she had experienced in years of competing at the highest level of the sport. Her word for it was simple and unfiltered: insane. And she meant it as the highest possible form of recognition. She wasn't complaining. She was marveling, standing inside an atmosphere that a first-round match had produced and acknowledging openly that she was witnessing something the sport rarely manufactures, even in finals. Pegula pointed to the consistency of it as what truly sets Eala apart. The Australian Open, the Miami Open, the Dubai Tennis Championships, Indian Wells. Regardless of the city, regardless of the round, regardless of the opponent, the crowds show up. They don't just fill seats. They live every single point as though the entire tournament depends on it. The $5 million figure will be the number that gets cited in articles and broadcast segments for years. But the number, as striking as it is almost beside the point. What it represents is far more significant than revenue. It represents a player whose cultural gravity has grown large enough to move markets, to turn a second-round match in the California desert into the most anticipated event on the tournament schedule before a single ball has been struck. The Eala Effect is no longer a storyline. It is a documented, measurable, economically verified phenomenon. And Indian Wells 2026 just provided the clearest proof of it yet.
Week after week, as she has done well and established herself as a really good player on tour, they all come out to support her. And so I think we saw that in Australia when it was kind of overcrowded. They put her on too small of a court. We saw it here. You can hear it from the hotel. You can hear the crowd roaring, especially at night. So it's
What Eala has built with her fans is not the product of a marketing campaign or a carefully managed public image. It is something far more organic and far more durable. A genuine human connection that keeps growing with every match she plays and every crowd she fills. Fans are willing to go to extraordinary lengths just to be in the same space as her. standing in lines that stretch far beyond what any venue anticipated, spending hours refreshing ticketing websites before inventory disappears, waiting outside stadiums they couldn't get into, not leaving, not giving up, simply wanting to be close enough to feel the energy radiating from inside. That level of devotion is rare in any sport. In tennis, it is almost without precedent at this stage of a career. And it has not gone unnoticed by the people who occupy the very top of the game. Novak Djokovic, the most decorated men's player in the history of professional tennis, a man who has seen and experienced everything this sport has to offer across more than 2 decades at its highest level, recently stepped forward and said publicly what many had been thinking privately. He called Alexandra Eala the greatest tennis player the Philippines has ever produced. When Djokovic speaks about the sport, the tennis world listens without reservation. His competitive record gives him an authority that very few people on earth possess. And his decision to speak out, not just about her talent on the court, but about her drawing power and what she represents for the global growth of the sport, carries a weight that no ranking or statistic can fully replicate. His words didn't just validate what fans already felt. They formalized it. They placed Eala's cultural and commercial significance into a context that the broader sports world could not dismiss or minimize.
Alex Eala, that's been a talk, and which is understandable. There's some players coming from respective countries, like she's coming from Philippines, which is now a big deal. She's been the biggest ever, tennis player from that country, which is a big country and there's big interest.
At the Australian Open earlier this year, the queues outside the stadium stretched further than anyone had planned for. Hundreds of fans who never made it through the gates didn't leave. They stayed, gathered around screens, flags still raised, voices still loud, because simply being near it meant something. Because the energy radiating from inside that venue was worth standing in the heat for, ticket or no ticket. That is the kind of hold Alexandra Eala has over the people who follow her. And it cannot be manufactured. Cannot be replicated. It either exists or it doesn't. And in her case, it exists at a level the sport has rarely encountered. As Indian Wells 2026 continues to unfold, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. The $5 million in ticket sales generated by a single match is not a ceiling. It is a baseline, a marker of where things stand right now, at the beginning of what analysts are projecting to be years of sustained, compounding growth. With every tournament she enters, Eala is not simply adding to her resume. She is expanding the boundaries of what women's tennis looks like commercially, culturally, and emotionally, reaching audiences that the sport has never consistently reached before and converting them into the kind of devoted, long-term supporters that reshape broadcast deals, sponsorship valuations, and tournament planning for years to come. She is no longer just a top-tier tennis player building toward her prime. She is a global sports figure whose influence extends well beyond the baseline, and the tennis world, after months of watching the data accumulate, has no choice but to fully reckon with that reality. So we want to hear from you. Have you ever seen a tennis player generate this kind of demand this early in a career? When you look at the scenes in Melbourne, in Dubai, and now in the California desert, does it surprise you? Does the Eala Effect feel like something genuinely new to the sport, or the next chapter of a story tennis has told before? And the larger question, the one analysts, broadcasters, and tournament directors are all quietly circling: is Alexandra Eala the future face of women's tennis? Drop everything you think in the comments, because this conversation is just getting started, and so is she.